Okay. All right, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. And for those who don't know me, I'm Brandy Chapman. I'm the Innovation Coordinator under the Bureau of Research who manages STIC activities for NJDOT. And thanks for joining us today. This is our third quarterly meeting for 2022. And I welcome and encourage you to turn your cameras on and show your faces. Just mute yourself unless you're speaking. And we'll be monitoring the chat. If you have any questions, just feel free to put them in there and we'll get to those questions. So to kick things off, I'm going to welcome our Assistant Commissioner, Mike Russo.
Thank you, Brandy. Everybody, welcome to our third quarterly STIC meeting for 2022. Couple remarks just leading into today's presentation. You know, as most of you know, traffic fatalities on our nation's roads have reached a crisis proportion. In 2021, almost 43,000 traffic fatalities were reported by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. This is the highest number of fatalities since 2005 and the largest annual percentage increase since NHTSA has been keeping records. In New Jersey, as of today, according to the New Jersey State Police website, there are 508 fatalities reported to date for 2022. This is an increase of 8.5% over the same time last year. So, reducing serious injuries and fatalities on New Jersey's roads will require the involvement of everyone on today's meeting. It'll require a cultural change in how we view safety and how we invest our time and our resources in improving safety on all of our state's roads. Our goal here at DOT is to reduce traffic fatalities to zero by the year 2050. We can't reach that goal alone. So today's feature presentation will be by the Safety CIA team. Dan Lisanti, manager of the Bureau of Safety, Bicycle, and Pedestrian Programs, will be joined by Singh in discussing our innovative approaches to highway safety, including work being done by DOT and its safety partners in innovative processes, how we are diversifying our portfolio of safety programs and projects, and the inclusion of proven safety countermeasures being considered on all of our projects. So I want to thank Dan in advance for pulling this together, and I hope you find the work being done statewide in the area of safety to be as impressive as I do. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to FHWA's Helene Roberts.
Okay, hi everyone. I just wanted to try to update you on a few things. We have very limited information, but I'm just going to kind of put some little placeholders in your mind for the near future. We are about to wrap up Everyday Counts Round 6. Everyday Counts Round 6 will be wrapping up at the end of this year, and we will be embarking on Everyday Counts Round 7. Now, I know you're saying Everyday Counts Round 7. What are the initiatives in Everyday Counts Round 7? And I'm sure that's your next question, and I do not have the answers to that question. They have not yet been announced, so I cannot tell you what the initiatives are. I do know that they will be announced hopefully soon because we're getting close. We're wrapping up the calendar year here. We're getting close, so I would expect to hear what the initiatives are soon. And then it will be followed by, as usual, a summit introducing the initiatives and giving us details, and also they'll showcase some of the states that have used, some of the states and other agencies that have used that initiative successfully. So we'll have the summit. It will be virtual. It will most likely be in December, the beginning of December. I don't have the dates in case you're saying when is the summit. I don't know when the summit is. I know it will be virtual, and then we'll follow it like we always do with a EDC 7 state caucus for New Jersey, where we'll get the various stakeholders from all over the state. Hopefully you will have attended the summit and listen to the presentations on the initiatives of interest and come willing and ready to discuss whether or not implementation in New Jersey is a good idea. So we'll follow up the summit with the caucus. With the start of Everyday Counts Round 7, we will be doing our final report on Everyday Counts Round 6. So that usually happens around January. We will be asking you for the final report on Everyday Counts Round 6. Now, just a reminder, in case you forgot, what Everyday Counts is all about. It's about deploying things quickly. So in that 2-year period, the expectation is that you've made progress. Now, that doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes stuff happens, right? And we don't make progress. But the expectation is in that 2-year period, you've made some sort of progress. And we've made quite a bit of progress with some of our initiatives, our EDC 6 initiatives. Remember, we chose to pursue all of them. So we've been pretty busy the past 2 years working on those. And if you've been at the other STIC meetings, you've sort of gotten updates and reports about where we are with those initiatives. The other thing I'm going to say is Everyday Counts Round 1 started in the year 2010. And in the year 2010, we did have something called a STIC. It was pretty informal. It was a group of people, and it's like, okay, we have a STIC meeting, and it was a pretty informal sort of setup, not really formalized. We probably got more cohesive around 2012, 2013. We started to get more cohesive in like Everyday Counts Round 2. And then we got sort of serious, and we have progressed significantly since then. We won a STIC Excellence Award in 2019. So our STIC has made an incredible amount of progress. I know a lot of STICs this year, 2022, are celebrating 10 years of STIC, okay? And we have 10 years of STIC. We didn't have a charter in 2012. We didn't get a charter until 2014, but we were well on our way to start to get things in place. So we've made an unbelievable amount of progress in the 10 years that we can say we've had a STIC. And I just wanted to like pat yourselves on the back for the progress that we've made in New Jersey. So when you're watching, when you're looking at these STIC meetings and these STIC newsletters saying 10 years of progress, we have 10 years of progress also. I just wanted to sort of bring that to your attention. I think that's what I was supposed to cover, Brandy.
That sounds good to me. Thanks for the heads up about the final EDC 6 report coming up, and also the reminder about what EDC is all about. And congratulations to New Jersey STIC for being ahead of the game on a national level. So thank you, Helene. Okay, now we'll be hearing from our core innovation area leads. I'll continue sharing my screen, so just tell me next if I haven't advanced your slides already. And first up, we're going to welcome Dan Lisanti and Keith Skilton from our Safety CIA team.
Thanks, Brandy. You guys can hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. So I'm going to give Dan a break since he's presenting in a little bit here. And I'm trying to find the chat. Can't find it. There we go. Let me just throw a link in the chat real quick and then I'll get started. Thank you for your patience. All right, so what I wanted to talk about today is local road safety plans. So a local road safety plan, or what I'll refer to as a LRSP, provides a framework for identifying, analyzing, and prioritizing roadway safety improvements on local roads. The LRSP development process and content are tailored to local issues and needs. The process results in a prioritized list of issues, risks, actions, and improvements that can be used to reduce fatalities and serious injuries on local roads. Each step in the process has a video and detailed explanations and links to further information. So I provided that link in the chat. You guys can peruse through that. And what I wanted to do is kind of walk you through each of the steps so that you kind of get a quick view of what's all included. So next slide, please. So the first step is identifying and including stakeholders. It's just like we do for a strategic highway safety plan, and building a team with a diverse skill set is critical to the success in making a local road safety plan. It has two main benefits. First, you get lots of perspective from different stakeholders, and second, a diverse team creates buy-in, which is crucial for implementing your plan. FHWA has resources that include templates, potential stakeholder lists for consideration, and additional training on stakeholder engagement with the links shown on the slide. Next slide. So the next step is gathering and using data to develop the plan. It is emphasized that a large costly effort in getting data you don't have isn't necessary and up to the agency to decide. The point of the data is to identify your safety risks in targeting a reduction in fatalities and serious injury crashes and mitigate those risks through a systemic application. In other words, bundling up projects and improve multiple locations at once to proactively improve safety performance. Next slide. So the next step is determining the what and where to deploy proven safety countermeasures. We've discussed the countermeasures in past STIC meetings, but we focused on the infrastructure improvement measures. When developing the local road safety plans, other mitigation may include education, enforcement, and/or emergency response measures that stakeholders will assist in their applicability. Next slide. So the plan itself does not save lives. So the next step is implementation. The site provides a guide on how to do this. Therein it details the steps to get the plan and then maintain the plan support, identify the funding, and how to prioritize and deliver projects, and then how to evaluate if safety performance is being achieved. The SJTPO has a contract in place right now to start developing local road safety plans for each of their 4 counties, with our other MPOs planning for ones as well. I've heard there's a lot of interest in agencies applying for the Safe Streets and Roads for All grants, where the local road safety plan is one component of the overall safety plan. So please check out the website and reach out to me if any further assistance is needed. Next, we'll turn it over to the next team. I'll take questions in the chat too.
Okay, thank you, Keith. Up next, we have our Infrastructure Preservation CIA team with Shivani Patel and Nunzio Merla. So I'll turn it over to you, Shivani.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeevanjot Patel, and I will be providing an update on the Infrastructure Preservation initiatives. Since May, there has been little progress to report due to staff changes and urgent departmental needs. The team is still in the process of selecting a pilot project to design an open roads designer and then to as-built digitally. The as-built survey will need to be accomplished by either the contractor or surveyor or a consultant. This will provide the team with a digital twin of the project limits. Team meetings will resume in the 4th quarter and include both GIS subject matter experts and staff from the EMO. Their participation will provide more insight on how to store the digital as-builts upon completion. This process will help ensure that as-builts will be accessible throughout the department. The team is anticipating having the project identified in the next month. They will also initiate design in the new CAD system once they complete their workspace by connecting pay items to design elements through item types. The team will resume discussions with staff from the construction division on the nuts and bolts of how to accomplish the as-built survey. Also, on July 25th, NJDOT staff participated in the FHWA Digital As-Builts Forum, where state agencies shared current progress and experiences implementing digital as-builts. The next forum is scheduled for September 26th. Next slide, please. The e-ticketing team has initiated the official process to procure an e-ticketing vendor. The team is currently holding off on any further action until procurement documentation is formally approved. In the next months, the team is hoping to have the procurement process completed as well as a vendor selected. The team, along with other internal staff, will also begin learning how to use the system. Next slide, please. ultra-high performance thin overlay, a highly polymer modified asphalt, also known as HIMA, is included in the Route 42 pavement preservation project. The project was awarded on June 20th of this year. The pre-construction meeting was conducted this past July, and the Route 42 project will be the first HIMA project for NJDOT. The NJDOT Pavement Management Unit has started using the newly acquired skid testing equipment. Skid testing by the Pavement Management Unit was conducted on 3 NJDOT projects on high friction surface treatment sections. The team participated in an enhanced friction overlay experience forum hosted by the National Center for Asphalt Technology. This forum was really helpful in attaining and sharing information and lessons learned with other agencies, universities, and industry partners who are also conducting similar testing and TOPS practices. In the next months, the team will continue to closely monitor and analyze the pros and cons of utilizing this type of asphalt mixture on concrete pavements in New Jersey. Based on the results, the team will advise the department on future development and the use of enhanced friction overlay treatments. Additionally, the NJDOT Pavement Management Unit will continue skid testing of high friction surface treatment sections. Next slide, please. The team presented an NJDOT UHPC overlay poster at the 39th Annual International Bridge Conference in Pittsburgh on July 18th. The team is still in the process of preparing for the first NJDOT UHPC Links Lab applications in construction on the superstructure replacement project, River Road over Route 287 Bridge in Piscataway Township, Somerset County. UHPC Links Lab applications are currently in the final design phase for multiple projects. In the next months, the team anticipates conducting the UHPC Links Lab applications on the superstructure replacement project mentioned earlier, as well as completing and analyzing the UHPC overlay testing data. This will include data from the UHPC overlay testing at the second location, which was NJ 159 westbound over Passaic River Bridge in Montville Township, Morris County. They will also establish baseline from 2022 testing. The team is also seeking and scoping additional UHPC applications for future projects where opportunities are available. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Shivani. And again, if you have questions, just pop them in the chat and we'll get to them. So next, many of you probably heard that Brian Goodson has moved on to a new role, but please welcome Crystal Section. And thank you, Crystal, for jumping in last minute for Zenobia of the Strategic Workforce Development Working Group. And she is giving an update for the Organizational Support and Improvement CIA team. So take it away, Crystal.
Thank you, Brandy. Hello, everyone. The focus of the Strategic Workforce Development Group over the summer has primarily been on formulating a department-wide mentorship program and also identifying emerging skill set needs with partners. So as you can see from this slide, well, actually, let me start with this. The group completed a survey to prioritize 3 of its actions moving forward. And the actions included mentoring, skill sets, and outreach to partners. So as you can now see on this slide, the priority actions for the mentoring program included listing desired disciplines. And some of them included planner, engineer, accounting, technology, environmental, and others that are listed under the disciplines here. And we were also looking at developing profile categories for the mentors. And these included what the mentee needs are, career level skills, organization skills and soft skills, organizational awareness, background, including education, work experience, and supervisory experience. So the top 3 survey results for how matches should be made for our mentorship program were speed mentoring, which is similar to like a speed dating where we've done this in the past where participants go around in a circle and they sit down when we ring a bell. And then they have an opportunity to talk. The mentor and mentee can talk. And the second area that came in was compatibility survey. And then third was mentee selection from a mentor profile. So next slide, please. And then we looked at the priority for skill sets. So we looked at listed unit business function needs for CPM. They included digital as-built or BIM and PMRS. And for let's see, transportation operations systems and support, the trades, diesel mechanics and electrical mechanics and ITS. I'm sorry, that's not right. For TOS, it was cyber data security, procurement and accounting, and new activities. And then for planning, multimodal and grants administration, we looked at the trades, diesel mechanics, electrical mechanics, and ITS. Okay. And the top 3 survey results for these skill sets were strategic vision of desired in-house expertise, by unit business function needs, and aligning with the NJDOT mission. Next slide, please. And then the third area that we looked at was partner engagement. And this primarily focused, the highest survey results came out for colleges and universities. And we decided that we would start looking on the county college level, trade and vocational schools, promotional videos and open houses. And other areas that we would look to are the department's speaker bureau outreach for each unit, and talent acquisition teams through our personnel coordinators, staff mentoring of high school students, which we've done in the past through our track and rides program. And track stands for transportation and civil engineering, and rides stands for roadways in developing elementary schools. And we're also considering union partnerships, workforce development plans through civil rights, and expanding Take Your Child to Work Day. So that is basically it. And I'd like to also say that this is just a framework to create our mentorship program, and we are working. HR is very much involved. They're taking the lead on this, and we're looking forward to, at some point, having a very robust mentorship program. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Crystal. Next, we're going to welcome Sal Cohen and Ake Pomsavath of our Mobility and Operations CIA team.
Thank you, Brandy. Good afternoon, Ake Pomsavath. And I will provide an update for the Mobility Operations team. The State Police CAD integration project will help the NJDOT to expand their data collection for traffic incidents within the region and within the state as well. The State Police project is currently in a holding pattern right now to reevaluate how best to address some of the technical challenges from the initial deployment. The NJDOT will continue to maintain their working group that also include the NJIT ITS Resource Center to provide strategic direction and SME support, especially on defining the NJDOT data integration requirements, the data dictionary to help ingest traffic-related incidents from the state police CAD system. Next slide, please. The NJDOT has been proactive, especially in the area of traffic incident management and providing real-time traffic information for truck drivers to help enhance freight operations, mobility, and safety, situational awareness for the trucking industry. NJDOT is now institutionalized with the use of crowdsource data for operations. The real-time truck alert system has been deployed for about 8 months now. The NJDOT will continue to assess the system performance relating to reviewing the alert data and comparing it against the major traffic incident data to help determine how the truck drivers are receiving the advance warning of the traffic incident. The existing NJDOT traffic operations work program funding has been leveraged to support the continued use of crowdsourced data for operations moving forward. And this concludes our update for the mobility operations team.
Okay, thank you, Ake. And now we're kind of doing something different. We are going to take a break. We are way ahead of schedule. So this was just going to be a 10-minute break, but I guess if it's okay with everyone, we can make it a 15-minute break. And what we're going to do is do a little transportation trivia. So you're free to get up and stretch your legs or walk around, or what we can do is you can stay here and play a little game. So it's completely up to you. But what you want to do for the trivia is go to the website here, enter that code using your smartphone. And I suggest using your real name instead of the anonymous default name so we know who's on the leaderboard. You're going to have 20 seconds to answer each multiple choice question, but more points are awarded for fast, correct answers. So if you have no idea what the answer is, it's best just to make a quick guess. And there are 5 questions total. And I'll give a few more seconds for folks to join, and then we'll get started. And I guess we'll resume when the quiz is over, or about 10 minutes. So if you want to walk away, just come back around 1:40. All right, and I will warn you, this moves quickly, so get ready. Let's go ahead and get started. Can everyone see the my screen here, the Menti screen? Yep, okay, good, perfect. Okay, so here we go. Question 1 of 5. What year was the DMV established in New Jersey? Okay, so the correct answer was 1906.
No one got that.
I see that. That's surprising. Okay, no points to anybody. Sorry. All right, next question. In 1916, what mode of transportation replaced the trolley? Okay, good. All right, 7 people got the right answer of the jitney. And let's see who's ahead here. All right, go Kimberly. Okay. All right, question 3. Kill, as in Arthur Kill and Paulin's Kill, is a word that means channel in what language? 3, 2, 1. Okay, most people got that right. And the answer is Dutch. See who's in the lead now? Vince Cardone. All right. All right. And I think we have only one more question. Oh, 2 more. Okay. Question 4. Governor Tom Keene signed the Transportation Trust Fund Authority Act in what year?
This is too hard.
I know, I'm sorry. Okay, the correct answer is 1984. A lot of people got that one right, so that's good. Okay. All right, Eric, you're ahead. He's our librarian here in the Bureau of Research, so okay. Vince, you're in second place, but it's really close. We have one more question. And fast answers get more points, so just remember that too. What was the name of the first female commissioner of NJDOT? Was it Debbie Buckley, Ann Canby, or Dot Andres? Oh, wow. A lot of people got this one right. Okay. But somebody did say Dot, and I'll tell you for bonus points, she was the first female engineer hired at NJDOT. So I threw her name in there just to mess everybody up. Okay, let's see who won. Okay. Now these are the total scores. Okay. All right. Vince is back on top. All right. Congratulations, Vince. Great job.
What's his prize?
I was going to say there are no prizes. You just get bragging rights. So sorry. Maybe next time.
I'll tell him first what the EDC 7 initiatives are. That's his prize.
Okay.
I'll tell him before I tell everybody else.
Okay. All right, so we'll just give another few minutes just for people to come back if they left for a break, and then we'll just pick it right back up with our feature presentation. So maybe in about 2 minutes, I'll start it again. So feel free to stretch your legs or get a drink or whatever.
Helene, when Brandy and I practiced this, I don't know, it was like a couple weeks ago. I think I got every single one wrong.
Oh my gosh, yeah, could you guys have made it like any harder?
I'll try to make it easier next time. I'm sorry. I thought it was kind of neat. Whatever. You never
No,
know
it
what
was
people
great.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a learning experience.
It wasn't hard for some people.
I know. Smarty pants.
Well, Eric's got the library over there, so I don't know if he was looking at something.
He must just like read stuff all day or something.
I think these guys are just smart. Good job, everybody.
Okay, so we'll just wait one more minute and then we'll get back to the presentation.
Brandy, so let me know when you want me to take over the screen.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. You want me to stop sharing now? I can just do that now if you want. Let me do that. I think we can pick back up actually. I don't think anyone really went away. So for our feature presentation, again, Mike introduced them earlier, but I'll just say again, we have Director Dan Lisanti and Section Chief Jeevanjot Singh joining us from NJDOT's Bureau of Safety, Bicycle and Pedestrian Programs. They're going to be talking about how they're using innovative techniques to advance their work program. So I'll turn that over to you, Jeevan. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let you take over.
Thank you. Let me share my screen now. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can, but it's not it's the presenter screen. Okay.
Yes. I haven't started the slideshow.
Okay. Oh, looks good.
Okay.
Perfect.
There we go.
Usually when I start the slideshow earlier, it messes up everything. So I prefer to start it later. All right, the floor is all yours, Dan.
All righty. Well, thank you, Jeevan. Well, hello. My name is Dan Lisanti, and I'm the manager of the Bureau of Safety, Bicycle and Pedestrian Programs at NJDOT. Both I and Jeevanjot Singh of my unit will be presenting this afternoon on NJDOT Innovative Approach to Safety. Agenda for our presentation is as such. I'll let you digest this for a moment. Okay, Jeevan, next slide. Who we are. First, I will glance over a few slides that will provide viewers some insight of where my unit is in the structure of NJDOT. I think this will be helpful to get this going. So you can't see all the names or everything, but I just want to get across the, a few things. This slide shows a higher level snapshot of NJDOT's structure. We only have a total of 4 assistant commissioners, whereas 3 of them that deal with infrastructure development. These 3 are boxed and color coded. The 4th is finance and administration. My unit falls under planning, multimodal and grants administration, PMGA, and we are led by Assistant Commissioner Michael Russo. Within PMGA, there are 4 divisions. My unit falls under statewide planning. Statewide planning has 3 bureaus and is led by Director Andrew Swords. As mentioned before, we are one of the 3 units. Okay, this is basically my unit now. So the Bureau of Safety, Bicycle and Pedestrian Programs, BSBPP, is made up of 3 primary units: Office of Safety Program Management, Office of Bicycle and Pedestrian Planning, and the Office of Complete Streets Implementation. Including administrative staff, we have a total of 23 staff members. The Bureau is responsible for administrating the federally funded Highway Safety Improvement Program, HSIP, for all public roads, municipal, county, and state in New Jersey. HSIP funds are used for the state highway improvements and metropolitan planning organization locally driven roadway improvement projects in support of New Jersey's strategic highway safety plan. The Bureau is responsible for management and implementation of the New Jersey 2020 Strategic Highway Safety Plan, SHSP. For 2023, New Jersey has allocated approximately $73 million, and the funds are only to be used on projects with a documented safety need. The Bureau is also responsible for serving as a subject matter expert, SME, on the department's Complete Streets policy and for ensuring its implementation. This requires coordination with the Division of Project Management and supervision to staff to thoroughly assess all NJDOT projects regarding bicycle, pedestrian, and complete streets accommodations in a timely manner. The Bureau is also responsible for initiating safety-related problem statements to address data-driven safety concerns along state routes. To this extent, the Bureau is responsible for management technical projects that identify, inventory, review, and analyze safety concerns along state and non-state roads with the goal of suggesting safety countermeasures. Next slide, please. Continuing from the previous slide, we do a lot. As mentioned, we administer the HSIP, a core federal aid program based on data-driven strategic approach to achieve a significant reduction in traffic fatalities and serious injuries on all public roads. We review all NJDOT projects for compliance with the department's Complete Streets policy. We oversee 3 resource centers: Safety Resource Center, Safe Routes to School Resource Center, and the Bicycle and Pedestrian Resource Center. We are responsible for completing reporting requirements such as the annual safety targets, HSIP annual safety report, HSIP implementation plan, and the vulnerable road user assessment. Next slide, please. This slide shows the overall program for 2023. If you look at the bottom left corner, that 83.7 million HSIP, this is the monies in the program that we administrate to do our part in making our roadways safer and to meet our aspirational goal of 0 deaths on New Jersey's roadway system by 2050. This number includes 10 million for rail safety. So these are the projects in our portfolio. They include both state and local. We have a total of 214 active projects. The design, concept development, and construction are self-explanatory. The planning, we have 32 projects in planning. A good example of one of our planning projects that you all should be familiar with is our Safety Resource Center Task Order 1, the SHSP implementation. It's one of our bigger planning efforts. Okay, now we're going to move on with the evolution of safety programs. This slide shows some history of our Bureau's Safety Program Management section. It has evolved itself. At one time, it was a standalone unit under the Division of Traffic Engineering. In 2013, safety programs moved to planning. Prior to this, staff designed and was focused on low-cost, quick-fix efforts that were primarily installed through work orders by maintenance. Projects implemented signs, lines, traffic signals, sidewalk, ramps, and other elements on curb-to-curb type jobs. Safety Lieu was signed into law on August 10, 2005. This established the HSIP program as a core federal aid program. Prior to this, there was still a safety program. It was called Hazard Elimination Program. You still see that name thrown on some of our documents. Safety Lieu authorized $5.06 billion over 4 years. That was fiscal years 2006 through 2009 for the HSIP program. This, the funding and the program, the HSIP program, continued through MAP 21, FAST Act, and now the IIJA. Funding for the program has increased over time as well. So this slide shows the numbers from 2017 through 2022. We continue to learn and make strides as the program evolves. If we go back further than this, which this slide doesn't show, if we go back like 2008, we authorized less than 6 million of HSIP money at that time. But over time, New Jersey's HSIP funding apportionments grew as well. They grew from 4 to 5 million to 28 to 58 million to now under IIJA, now 73 million apportionment. Now the present. There's some overlap with the previous slide on the past. Just has to be. So as I said earlier, in 2013, safety programs moved to planning. We developed an HSIP safety portfolio in 2015. During this transition from low-cost projects, we had changes in methodologies and procedures as well. In 2016, we developed the HSIP program manual. We began using the HSM Highway Safety Manual as a tool for predictive methods. We had modifications to the program and project development. Full scope, larger scale, capital delivery type of projects can now be developed, enabled substantive assessments in lieu of the low cost countermeasures, which confines of existing right of way and without modifying existing geometry. Systemic programs projects can now be developed as well. In 2018, safety programs merged with the Office of Bicycle and Pedestrian Programs to form BSBPP. Another thing that we did, we updated our SHSP in 2020. 2017, the FAST Act brought about safety targets. This, as well as HSIP implementation plan, if required, are now FHWA reporting requirements. We continue to do our annual safety report, FHW requirement. This has grown and requires much more detail and information. Next slide, please. Previous slide. There we go. So this is our breakdown of our fiscal year 2022 performance. You can't see the total numbers there, but our total planning numbers are 21.313 million. Total locals, 25.983 million. Total state was 46.692 million. And overall, 93.99 million to date. We're still shooting to break that $100 million mark. We have the projects, but we don't know if we have the obligation, the state obligation limit. Can carry more of these projects, but we're as the program evolves, you'll see in the next couple slides, it just continues to grow. Next slide. This slide is kind of a preview. The tasks continue to evolve. Jeevan will go more into detail on these efforts later in this presentation. Next slide. And this is our look ahead. The programmed amount for fiscal year 23 and 24, including rail, as compared against our safety portfolio. We have a lot of good projects in our portfolio, but you can see we're well over programmed. So good things to come also. Okay, now, as Keith mentioned earlier, and as Helene, we are, next slide, Jeevan. As you're aware, my unit, BSBPP, partnering with the New Jersey FHWA, are the lead for New Jersey STIC Safety CIA team. I just want to touch base on a few past STIC EDC accomplishments of the team. Safe transportation for every pedestrian, STEP, was an EDC4 and an EDC5 initiative. An action plan for implementing pedestrian crossing countermeasures at uncontrolled locations was developed as a collaborative effort between the FHWA and NJDOT. The action plan targeted specific countermeasures for improving pedestrian safety at unsignalized state road crossings. The plan recommends measures that, when implemented, may reduce the number and rate of pedestrian crashes, fatalities, and injuries on New Jersey's highways. The effort included a full-day workshop to review existing practices and policies impacting crossings and to develop the recommended actions reflected in the plan. The effort also included a thorough review of NJDOT's current use of the countermeasures and pedestrian safety processes. The intent of the plan was to inform and be incorporated into future strategies developed in New Jersey's 2020 Strategic Highway Safety Plan. Stemming from this effort, BSBPP developed a problem statement for statewide systemic safety projects for mid-block pedestrian safety improvements. The projects are currently in C-Day. Within the EDC3 initiative, 3 peer exchanges were held to share best practices in addressing traffic safety. These full-day events brought together representatives of NJDOT, FHWA, counties, municipalities, and MPOs to discuss project prioritization, substantive safety, implementation of the FHWA safety countermeasures, and the use of a systemic safety approach. To support the delivery of local safety peer exchanges, NJDOT sought state transportation incentives funding, STIC funding, from the FHWA, with approval of New Jersey's State Transportation Innovation Council. So we received funding, from STIC to do this effort. The local safety peer exchange events were well aligned with the FHWA Technology Innovation Deployment Program, TIDP, goal. Develop and deploy new tools and techniques and practices to accelerate the adoption of innovation in all aspects of highway transportation. Within an EDC5 initiative, our plan was to improve the knowledge of rural roadway facility owners and maintainers, to reduce in roadway departures. 3-session, 3-day training series was coordinated and presented by BSBPP with FHWA and the FHWA Resource Center. This course provided participants with tools for addressing roadway departure crashes. Topics covered in this course included a discussion of engineering countermeasures, as well as implementation using the systemic approach. So at this time, I'm going to hand this over to Jeevan to speak about moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Moving forward, I will address what are the changes and innovative practices that we have taken up at the Bureau of Safety, Bicycle and Pedestrian Programs to ensure that safety is incorporated into all DOT projects, and we realize more safety benefits on our roadways. As you understand, with what Mike already illustrated, is the need of the hour. And I can't advance my slide. There we go. So as Dan mentioned earlier, we have been looking very deeply into being proactive with our assessment of crash risks on New Jersey's roadways. New Jersey has developed multiple tools, including screening of our network for locations with a history of crashes to assess our roadways for safety concerns. However, we are now focusing on reviewing our roadway system for reasons of why crashes happen and addressing those reasons proactively. This change in focus from a reactive to a proactive approach will help us get to a point where we are addressing the risk of a crash, thereby preventing severe crashes from occurring. We are close to completing the inventory and assessment of horizontal curves in New Jersey, including those on our local network. We will be evaluating our state highway system for risk of severe crashes along the curves and at intersections. We'll also be looking at the roadway system for school zones and see where we need to address school zone crashes that that are indicative of both pedestrian bicyclist crashes as well as vehicular crashes. This is coming up in the future, so everyone, I would use this as a plug. So everyone put it on your calendar, put it on your poll, that we will be reaching out to you to seek your participation in this effort along with New Jersey FHWAs. The other part that we have that we are focusing on is systematic. Now, there is a difference between systemic and systematic. Systemic addresses the risk of a crash, and it is predominantly a predictive tool, while systematic addresses the entire system. So we are exploring this route as well. We have initiated 2 programs to mitigate safety in a systematic manner on our roadways, and we will be initiating more through our problem statement development process. The first one that I would like to highlight is the vegetation safety management. Through our collaboration with Transportation Operations Safety and Support, we are addressing all clear zones along all of our limited access roadways in New Jersey that are under the New Jersey DOT jurisdiction. The second that I would like to highlight is the mid-block crosswalk improvements project that Dan touched upon earlier, where we are also addressing safety concerns along all of the approved mid-block crosswalks on New Jersey DOT's highways. So process improvement is an integral part of innovations, as it rightly should be. We do this in order to realize the efficiencies of scales on our projects. In the next few slides, I will go through some of the process improvements that we have undertaken and initiated, and most of them completed to institutionalize safety in all of our projects. So the first one I'd like to say is, as all of you are aware, we on a broader scale have 2 types of projects. We have a full scope project and a limited scope project. Even within the limited scope process, we have 2 kinds of processes. One that will require a complete concept development report, and the others that can progress through a condensed CD checklist. Safety projects have traditionally been full scope. However, we understand that there are certain elements that can be deployed on the roadside or on our roadways that do not require a full scope process. So we are leveraging the opportunity that we got with the condensed CD checklist type of projects. And we have worked internally with the DOT stakeholders to develop 2 kinds of CD checklists. One, as was mentioned in one of the other CIA teams, is the high friction surface treatment type CD checklist. And we have already deployed quite a few high friction surface treatments along our roadways that are being assessed by our pavement management unit now. The other that we have done very recently was addressing the needs that were developed through the risk assessment, as I talked about earlier in my slides on the horizontal curve inventory and safety assessment systemic analysis project, is the horizontal curve sign program CD checklist. We are currently using this checklist. The horizontal curve sign projects are in the process of being presented to CPC for graduation to a CD, which will then go through an approved CD checklist process. The CD checklist is on the New Jersey DOT webpage, and will be going through this condensed process to fast track the deployment of horizontal curve signs that are meant for improving safety along our roadways. And I had to do this and I forgot. I hope you all understand. We were just talking about the concept development process here. The other part of process improvement is the delivery process. So most of our projects go through a capital project delivery process. However, as Dan illustrated earlier, we are required to follow a data-driven safety analysis for all of our HSIP projects. New Jersey DOT has taken the path of going through an HSM analysis to highlight the data-driven safety benefits for whatever countermeasures we are including in the projects. This is conducted through a couple of spreadsheets that are FHWA approved and shared as per the HSM manual. However, what we were experiencing was that because HSIP projects or HSIP funding constitutes about 3 to 3.5% of the total state budget, the projects are few and far between, although we do have close to more than 200 projects in our portfolio, yet they are still few and far between for the state, which would technically lead to not the PMs not being aware of the requirements of the HSIP program. So in order to mitigate that inefficiency, we've included activities in the network diagram and activities in the work breakdown structure that will bridge that gap for both for HSM analysis and also for our complete streets checklist. We are in the process of reviewing the limited scope complete streets checklist process, but we have those activities in place moving forward. And I don't think this is on the NJDOT website just yet, but it has been approved by the FHWA. The other process development and project development activity that I would like to highlight is, as Dan indicated, we've already been included as SMEs in the project development process, participating in core group meetings, scope team meetings, and such. However, recently, about 3-4 years ago, we have been an intrinsic part of the consultant selection teams, the proposal for proposal reviews, and for putting forth our perspective on all HSIP projects. We have worked very closely with the project managers to educate them and also to review proposals from the consulting industry on how we can best, what are the best countermeasures to review, what are the best questions to ask, key issues to ask in the procurement process, so we select the best team to design safety projects along our roadways. And finally, we have the post-deployment. So once you go through all the process of planning, designing, and constructing safety projects, we also have a requirement to do a post-deployment evaluation of the projects. It usually takes about 3.5 years to gather all the data. Technically, the evaluation of before and after study requires 3 years of before data, a 6-month normalization period after construction, and then another 3 years of data after the normalization. So technically, we do have the pre-data already recorded in our databases. So we are looking for 3.5 years outside of construction in order to gather the post data for us to do an evaluation. We have recently submitted a request for approval of our post-deployment evaluation process to FHWA, and we are anticipating their comments soon. Once approved, we will use that process to do a post-deployment evaluation on centerline rumble strips that have been installed along almost all non-divided highways in New Jersey, the high friction surface treatment projects that have been completed, and the road diet projects that have been completed to assess their safety benefits in the longer term. Now I'll talk a little bit about procurement and funding. When I say procurement, I predominantly will focus on funding. We used to have split funding options. When I say split funding, it is, I understand, all of you already understand this term. And I'll just say this, that when you have two different types of funding, federal funding monies combined into one project where you have a delineation of either the pay item or the limits of the project, to use one or the other kind of funding is the process of split funding. We had never done split funding with HSIP monies before in the department, although we used to do split funding earlier. This project, the Route New Jersey 439 from New Jersey 28 to New Jersey 27, is the first HSIP split funded project, and we're hoping for its success. We have gone through an extensive process of figuring out how to do the milepost delineation. We were actually, through the HSIP funding, we're actually going to fund only the construction and improvement of 2 intersections off of this corridor. And the delineation and the accounting process was a very tedious exercise, but we have been through this. This is out in, this has been awarded and is out in construction. The other part that I want to talk about is the job order contracting, or the IDIQ type of contracting that FHWA has recently taken up as part of one of the EDC initiatives. And we are looking, I'd also like to preface this by saying that New Jersey DOT already does job order contracting on TOS&S type contracts and ITS contracts. We're just trying to take it a step further and see how it's applicable on safety projects, specifically safety projects that will probably follow a TOS&S process or follow a condensed CD checklist type of process. And we talked about, Mike gave you a little preview of diversifying our portfolio. To date, our portfolio, or actually I should not say to date, about a couple of years ago, our portfolio was included predominantly hotspot type of projects that were carried out either through the local safety program or through a DPM process. We are now diversifying and reaching out. We are coordinating with TOS&S. We're coordinating through TOS&S also with maintenance and technology, because they are both in TOS&S right now. And of course, we are coordinating with our communications office because we are leveraging the funds that we have through IIJA, or the bipartisan infrastructure law, and the ability that they provide to us for developing special projects that can include PSAs and public outreach. So with maintenance, as I indicated earlier, we are exploring the possibility of the vegetation safety management program, wherein we're clearing we are reclaiming the clear zone, and it is very important for safety needs. For technology, we're working with TOS&S and South Commons office to develop wrong way driving warning systems, to develop some kind of pedestrian detection systems. And then for all the intersections that have adaptive on them, we're looking to select and put a process together for developing lead pedestrian intervals that can provide a presence of the pedestrian within the intersection to provide more safety. I talked about communications and special projects. With the BIL, we have the ability to reach out through our communications to the public through public safety announcements, both as an organic and a paid marketing system. And finally, we're looking into different types of countermeasures on our roadways. Again, with our wrong way driving systems along 295, we have been although 295 is not funded with HSIP monies, but we have been an integral part of the development of this wrong way driving system along 295, and the I-80 wrong way driving system will be funded through HSIP funds. Pedestrian detection systems, as I indicated, with both, including both passive pedestrian detection that will put a call in to the controller if a pedestrian is present without the pedestrian having the need to push the button, and then an active pedestrian detection system wherein while the pedestrian is crossing in the crosswalk, and is walking slow for whatever reason, the pedestrian's speed will be detected and the extension of the red will be incorporated, thereby extending the flashing don't walk to allow the pedestrian enough time to cross. This is very important part that we are investigating, specifically with maintenance at the intersection of Route 129 and Laylor Street, which, as you would all know, has been deemed as the most dangerous, unfortunately, intersection in the entire country. So at this particular intersection, we're exploring everything that we can to improve safety. Finally, with the Strategic Highway Safety Plan implementation, we have been through multiple states in the country talking about their strategic highway safety plans. Most of the states end their strategic highway safety plan engagement after the development or the update of their SHSPs. Seldom do states carry it through the implementation, and no one has done it as robust as we have and as we are, with participation of about 200 stakeholders and continuing and their continual engagement in the process. We have this is what you're seeing on your slide is a new at a glance summary of the progress of the original 35 priority actions. We have about 150 priority actions in our plan. The first go around, we took upon ourselves to implement and progress 35, and this is their progress. This is something that we are constantly updating as the emphasis area teams make new progress. The top right shows the number of year one priority actions by the emphasis area teams. The priority actions are mostly spread equally across the emphasis areas, but driver behavior does have 6 and equity has 4. In the top center is the overall progress for all 35 actions. At this moment, the action teams were reporting about 83% complete. Next is the colored columns, which show us the individual EA team's progress. The tick marks that you see represent how many year one priority actions are in each one of the EA teams. If they are gray, they are underway. If they are colored in, that means they are complete. As of today, 15 of the 35 priority actions are complete. By EA team, the percentage completion ranges from 79 to 98%. That means all the other gray bars that you see in there are very soon to be completed. And we have another 22 action items added to this report, to this part of 35 in year 2. So the next time when you see an update, it'll be 35 plus 22 actions. So we are going through a very robust implementation exercise with the Strategic Highway Safety Plan. Then, of course, we have our Safety Resource Center. The NJDOT Safety Resource Center is a one-stop centralized clearinghouse for transportation safety in New Jersey. The SRC will disseminate information and connect multimodal transportation experts, public officials, academia, and public to a variety of industry resources such as safety trainings, technical standards, guidance, plans, research, case studies, best practices, and technical assistance. The SRC's dynamic range of content will be produced and managed by a panel of technical and creative experts versed in accessible communication methods for a variety of audiences. The SRC also serves as the gateway to multimodal safety programs, funding guidance reports, and other initiatives throughout the state. A team comprised of public and private safety professionals is available to support local public agencies through the provision of technical guidance and support. This team will also be responsible for leading the implementation of the 2020 Strategic Highway Safety Plan, developing the New Jersey 2025 Strategic Highway Safety Plan, and each subsequent SHSP update. In addition to assisting NJDOT with administration of statewide highway safety improvement program funding and incorporating pedestrian safety improvements and local safety or high-risk rural roads. The SRC will also is also assisting with reporting requirements, as Dan alluded to, that are extensive and include but are not limited to the vulnerable road user assessment, the annual safety report, the safety targets, the HSIP implementation plan, and I hope we end there. We don't add more to our repertoire of reporting requirements. The SRC elements are, of course, the branding. Branding is the value of creating a brand which provides the visuals and messaging across all changes. And then we have the website, which will be the reliable source of all SRC information, including the technical programs. We're looking into how we connect with people through our LinkedIn and YouTube sites, where we can provide for training material and technical guidance, and working with our Office of Communications for public campaigns, including more robust technical programs, both in person and web-based, and of course, providing the instruments to facilitate meetings and events in the future, including the Safety Summit that's coming up on October 11th. And here, Dan and I will open it up for questions if you have any. If not, then I will. I see Keith. Thank you, Keith, for putting the link to the Strategic Highway Safety Plan in the chat box.
Yeah, sorry for the timing on that. So I typed that in the very beginning when Mike was talking, and I never hit return. So I didn't mean to interrupt your presentation. Great job.
Timing when I was talking about SHSP, you dropped it right in. Thank you. Thank you. So if nobody has any questions, I'll stop sharing, and Brandy, you can have your control back.
Thank you so much, Dan and Jeevan. That was a lot of information between the innovative procurement and process improvements that you're doing there, and the systemic and systematic approaches to safety, which is such a critical issue right now, and pedestrian detection systems. As you said in the beginning, your bureau really does a lot. So thank you so much for that. So I'm going to share my screen again. Bear with me for a moment here. Okay. And although we're really far ahead of schedule, please don't leave just yet. We just have some quick reminders and announcements. As always, don't forget about our tech transfer website and the dedicated STIC page, where you can find all of our STIC business articles, meeting recordings, and summaries. And also a reminder about the New Jersey STIC Innovative Initiative Survey. The new due date is September 30th, so there's still some time to get that in. It was sent via email and also distributed through the MPOs. And the primary purpose of this survey is to raise awareness of Federal Highway Administration's Everyday Counts initiatives and to identify innovative practices that are being undertaken in New Jersey. The survey also seeks to explore participant insights and experience related to the need for innovation, to identify examples of implemented EDC initiatives and other innovative practices in New Jersey, and consider any challenges to implementing innovative practices. The survey takes about 10-15 minutes, and you can find it at the link here, but maybe David or Catherine, if you could also pop that link in the chat for anyone. And for 2022 Build a Better Mousetrap, we did have a winner. It was the saw cut vertical curb. And this is a method that involves cutting a typical 4-inch curb to 2 inches to comply with updated standards for guardrail. the existing guardrail can remain in place while cutting the curb, and the construction crew can remove and upgrade the guide rail later. And this new method saves time, money, and improves the safety of both work crews and road users. And we thought it was such a good idea that we submitted it for a national award through AASHTO's Innovation Initiative program, which Amanda and I learned about through our participation in AASHTO's Innovation Community of Practice. So what they do is AASHTO is investing time and money to accelerate the adoption of innovations by agencies nationwide. And if an innovation is selected, applicants receive the tools and budget to help peers adopt or adapt the advancement within their agencies. Again, we submitted the saw cut vertical curb as our first nomination to the annual competition earlier this month, and a winner will be selected by the end of the calendar year. And in case you missed it, Federal Highway did a nice write-up about New Jersey STIC in the September-October issue of the Innovator publication. Using excerpts from our presentation at the National STIC meeting, they mention our STIC communications plan, our piloting of the Let's Go Innovation Workshop, and more. And you can read the full article at the link here. It's volume 16, issue 92. And now we get to the reason this meeting was pushed to today. Last week, I attended the State Innovation Forum held in San Diego, California. The purpose of the forum was to exchange ideas with DOT innovation peers, helping to shape the future of transportation innovation. Attendees also included AASHTO, TRB, and Federal Highway Administration, who were all looking to gain insight into new tools and learn about the needs of the group. I'm looking forward to leveraging best practices gained from this forum and collaborating with peers in other states to help grow and sustain a culture of innovation here in New Jersey. It was a really beneficial event, and I made some good connections there. And as a reminder, I know it was plugged a couple times, but here's another one. It can never be too much. The Safety Summit will be held on October 11th, 2022 at 10 a.m. and it will be virtual. Save the dates were sent to 700 safety stakeholder members, and more information, including registration, can be found at saferoadsforallnj.com. We also still have STIC incentive funding on the table from fiscal year 22 and 23 funds will be coming available soon. As a reminder, we get $100,000 a year, and we ask that all of our STIC network members push these grant opportunities through your networks. Local public agencies are eligible to apply, and it'd be great to get some applications from new sponsors. The link here has all the resources you need to get started. Feel free to share it, and the website explains what the program is, the selection criteria, eligible projects, how to apply, and all sorts of things. But if you have any questions about the program, please feel free to contact me. And that's it for me. So I'm going to turn it over to Amanda and Mike for final comments. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, it's Amanda. Just real quick, thank you so much, Brandy, and thank you very much for all of our presenters today. You all did a really good job, and I wanted to have a early congratulations to Brandy, who is getting married this weekend. And so, you know, congratulations, and we all wish you the best. And so that's it on my end.
Thank you.
And I'd like to echo that. Congratulations, Brandy. You've done a fantastic job with this. It seems as though you've been doing this for decades. You do this so well. So thank you very much. Thank you to all the presenters, and thank you also to all the participants. Thanks a lot. Have a good day, everyone.
Here.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.